Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. A very warm welcome to the inaugural program, Community Matters, Hard Talk. The focus is on building the educational fundamentals amongst the Sikh community in Punjab, in India, and the rest of the world. I'm the program conductor. My name is Karamjit Singh Thind from Kalgita Trust and Educate to Save programs in the UK. The focus today is going to be on education. Education is best provided by the gender, the mother. The mother is a key icon who is at the center of changing humanity. A child's future is determined by the mother. My guests today are two well-known ladies within the Sikh community around the world who has been engaged in educational programs for a number of years around the world. May I first introduce you to Manika Kaur, who will also tell you a little about her background, the activities she has been engaged in, and the projects that she's leading around the world. Manika ji.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. First of all, thank you for having me on this program. My name is Manika Kaur, and I have a foundation called Kirtan for Causes. What I do is I compose Kirtan and record Kirtan albums, and I also create concerts, all of which raise money to educate children in Punjab, as well as building homes and just dealing with the day-to-day needs of the children and their needs in Punjab, whether it be if a family is going through a member committing suicide and they need more support, or if they need books, light, education, sending out solar lights, things like that. So trying to just deal with the day-to-day needs. I go to Punjab every year and visit my kids and see how the project is coming along.
Great, thank you very much. And my next guest is Sukhmani Kaur. She will tell you a little about the projects that she's engaged in, and then the focus will get on to how each of our guests are engaged in different programs. Sukhmani ji.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. So I represent a Sikh educational charity, Everything's 13, that's been running for the last 5 years from UK, and we have base in India and Canada. And I do the children educational projects for the charity. So we run two projects. One is called Mighty Khalsa, which is a book publishing and media platforms publishing. So we done a game, free game for iPads and Androids for Sikh and Punjabi vocabulary, and few books, Mool Mantar book and activity books. And the second project I do is called Kiddy Sangat, which is a playgroup based learning for nursery age children, so for under 5s, and it's been successfully running in London area in UK for about over 5 years, and we're starting now in few centres in Punjab and in India as well. So they do replicating the system and run in the local places. So we have a website where we share the activities and crafts. And
Satsangat ji, today the problems among the Sikh community, fundamentally there's a problem of value-based education, and value-based education should be introduced into the community during the informative years by, again, a mother. She is the first teacher that can transform the child. And I will again take you back to Sukhmani ji, how she is actually already engaged at the nursery level, and perhaps with her children even earlier than that. Perhaps Sukhmani ji, you can tell us a little about your own family, how you have engaged with the children, and how the concept of creating these classes at a nursery level were formulated.
Well, basically the concept is not a new concept. Obviously in Gurbani we know Guruji tells us Babaniya Kahaniya Put Sabut Karen. So you tell the children stories of your ancestors and the gurus, and they become good children. So Guruji told us the answer already, so we don't need to invent anything. And then the thing is happening in normal community, like they have play groups and they have maybe classes like readings, library readings, but there's nothing like that. Nothing existed like that for Sikh community. So basically took the existing thing as a play group and just made it into Sikhi one. So existing nursery rhymes, English nursery rhymes, we just changed them into Sikhi, and we teach kids through the things that they already know, change it slightly. So instead of Incy Wincy Spider, we have Incy Wincy Khalsa, and so just things like that. And through sort of fun and games, because they can't really learn much at the age of 3 or 4, but you can make them love Sikhi, you can inspire them through your own example and through just the fun activities, which they would not necessarily associate with learning, but they still do take in things.
I mean, it seems you have started at the right time. Why is it that a program like this cannot be parachuted down or helicopter landing maybe when the child is 10 or 15? Why?
I mean, my strong belief is that they have to have love for Sikhi from beginning, because otherwise the society takes over, friends take over, and the priority is not there. You have to have this love for Sikh. You might not know much Gurbani, but you have to have this love to sort of have this thirst to learn and to get the connection.
And taking Sikhi to the world, the only way is to start even prior to a nursery level as a mother.
Of course.
Is there anything you did as far as your own family is concerned, with your own children? Perhaps not so much the programs that you have introduced at the nursery level, but early years, maybe when the child was born, 6 months, a year old. Was there anything you did?
I mean, we done all the things, like we had the little like baby Amrit for the kids.
Sure.
And I can't really think of any special thing, but I think the most thing is that most important thing is that your example. You can't be just telling kids you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this, and then through seeing you doing those things, they will understand the importance of it. So.
Satsang ji, these people like Sukhmani Kaur are amongst the change masters. They do feel many challenges in terms of running these classes or encouraging young parents to be introducing their children to the basic fundamental concepts of Sikhi. But I will now ask Manika ji, because she is already engaged at different levels in building Sikhi awareness amongst the community through her Kirtan for courses, through her visits to the disadvantaged areas, economically disadvantaged areas of Punjab. Sukhmani ji, perhaps Manika ji, can you please tell us a little about your projects and what the aims and objectives are?
As a child, my parents would take me to Punjab every year. And as I grew older and I started to become aware of my surroundings, I would see girls my age that my parents were sponsoring their education, and I would think, what is the difference between me and this girl? And there's a world of difference when there shouldn't be. Why should this girl who's 14, 15 be struggling, walk for miles to be able to get to a school, have no access to medication when they need it, be dealing with suicide or a family member who's addicted to drugs or alcohol? The kind of circumstances that these children face at such a young age are so extreme. And I just kind of knew that I wanted to do something.
And it's interesting, as you say girls, you didn't use the word boys, and it's so critical, as we said earlier in the program, that it is the female gender, it's the girl child who is going to transform society. And perhaps that was at the back of your mind or your parents' mind for taking you so early into Punjab or India.
Well, my foundation also sponsors the education of boys, but I think for me, relating it at that age it was easier to relate it to girls, being a girl myself,
Sure.
and kind of looking at it from that perspective. So when I started the Kirtan for Causes Foundation, it was just because I love singing Kirtan, and I enjoy making videos about the Gurus and the messages that the Gurus have. And then taking these Kirtan albums and selling them, or if people are downloading them, 100% of all the profits go to the children. So it's purely as a seva. It is Kirtan for causes. I don't take anything out of it. It's not a business. It is purely Kirtan for causes. Last year I did a concert at the Union Chapel, and the Educate to Save team came to that event. They did a presentation so that people could be aware of what we're trying to do here, which is making it very easy. We're not really asking people to give us their money. We're saying, invest your time in that child. Go online to educatetosave.com, make a profile, select just one child. If every family selected just one child, we could change the face of Punjab in one generation. Or if we do nothing, then we can witness the extinction of Sikhi within this one generation.
I think, Manikaji, our next program is going to be on the Educate to Save website, which is being launched, and perhaps we will then be able to tell the Satsangat a lot more about the program itself. Satsangatji, it is the education of that child in the early years. I will ask now Sukhmani that what are the challenges you have faced in even organizing a small group of children pre-sort of school to be directed? Were there any special challenges with parents that you may have encountered?
To be honest with you, parents love it, and in our programs parents stay with the children. So we don't take just the nursery children by themselves and parents go for shopping or something like this. Parents stay with the children. They hear all the same sakhis. They hear all the same stories of the Gurus. And this provides opportunity for them later on maybe to refer, and, because kids learn through repetition. So if the parent hears the story, then they can discuss. Maybe they go somewhere in the car, they're riding, and they start talking about the same sakhi. So I believe it's very important not to just target one age group, but the whole family sort of thing. So if you have parents and younger children and older children, that's the ideal situation where the whole family learns. And to be honest with you, we didn't really have any challenges from families. The main challenge is from the just organizing, trying to find the space, and that's.
And you feel community leaders need to understand the power of this exercise of taking.
It's not, unfortunately, it's not a priority for any Gurdwara or Punjabi school. It's not a priority for them. They just want to run their operations that they do, and they're not really interested in investing into the education. That's an unfortunate situation, but it's everywhere in the world. Well,
I'm very pleased actually we got Manikaji with us, who is also a philanthropist at a number of fronts. You just mentioned the programs that you're conducting. Manikaji, is there any sort of efforts we can perhaps, how we can support Sukhmaniji in perhaps taking this sort of program to other corners of the UK to start off with, perhaps, where sort of nursery children or nursery children could understand the message of Sikhi, good, bad, and whatnot. Do you see any potential there?
I think it's wonderful what Sukhmani is doing with her foundation and teaching children the basics of Sikhi. And instilling within them the love for Guru. It's something that I do with my son daily, and it's one of the reasons that I also sing Kirtan, is so that he can love Sikhi, and create the videos that I create so that he can understand it. I think that putting together maybe a program of how it's run, creating a course might be the way to start, and then approaching schools that have a big Sikh community, or approaching schools that are run by Sikhs even, and there are schools like that. I did meet some people here that do run schools like that, and taking your outline to them and making sure that everybody actually is comfortable with that and feels that the outline is correct within the ideals of Sikhi, and then kind of taking it forward. I think there's always challenges no matter what we do and what direction we go in, but those challenges are placed in front of us by Vaheguru, and it's for us to overcome it. And if we have good to give, then we should keep going after it and giving it.
Yeah. Now, Manika ji, as you got a little boy,
Yes.
how old is he now?
He's about to be 6.
About 6. There must be, in the early days, that what sort of thoughts, what sort of concepts he develops to be a good future citizen of the world. And Sikhi, as Sukhmani ji said, has got all that fundamental knowledge for a mother to part on to a child. What were the things that concern you, that how should he perceive certain things? Are there any examples you can tell as a mother?
Absolutely. The first thing is, it starts with you. What you do is what they'll do. They emulate you. So my son's almost 6, but till now my husband and I have never shouted at him. So when my son comes running up to me and he starts shouting at me, "Mama, Mama, Mama, I want this or I want that," I just look at him and I say, "Siraj, why are you shouting?" And he goes quiet, and I'm like, "Does Mama ever shout at you?" "No." "So then why are you shouting at me?" And then he goes, "Oh, excuse me, Mama, may I please go to my friend's house?" So it just starts with example and then reinforcing it. I don't baby him. I treat him and talk to him like he's capable of making his own decisions. So instead of telling him what to do, I ask him. If he can't really think it clearly, then I give him an option. So he now knows that it's between A or B. And so he's going to choose, and I believe that he'll be capable of choosing the right thing. I think that if I teach my child to pray, and if I teach him to be calm, I'm giving him everything he needs to face the world. Because I know that everything I've been through or faced, it's always been my prayers that have saved me. That's what's given me peace in the storm, the ability I feel to walk through anything, but yet feel God's love within that fire, and that comes first from praying. So prayer is a big part of our daily routine. As tedious as it is, I sit down with my son every day to do Mool Mantar Mala, to do Vaheguru Mala. I sing Shabads to him. He composes Shabads with me. I say, what do you feel when you think of Vaheguru? And he may say, "Oh, I love Vaheguru," or "Vaheguru is great," or "Vaheguru is inside me." And I'll say, "Let's sing that." So things like that. The other thing is I look at what he's interested in. My son is obsessed with dinosaurs. So every night I tell him a story before bed, and the main character is Dino Singh. And it's this dinosaur who has a jura, and he goes to school, and he's the only one in the school with the jura. And so the things that other dinosaurs' children may say to him, and how he should respond. How does Dino Singh respond? So what I'm really doing is teaching him how to respond when he's in that situation, when he's the only Sikh boy with a jura in his class. How should he respond? And I do it through a character. Instead of telling him how to do it, I just do it through this character, Dino Singh. And we've been writing these books together, Siraj and I, even though he's only 6, about this character, Dino Singh.
And this is just wonderful. That was exactly the reason for the question, why it was posed. And the beauty is that we have Sukhmani ji with us. That's exactly the sort of literature they have produced for mothers. Just like what you have virtually created one yourself, but they have actually, they are in the business of creating that sort of literature. But the focus on the girl child, a mother. We all have partnerships with Kalgita Trust, Baru Sahib, and the very founder of that very rich and powerful educational heritage of the Sikh people was Sant Babatar Singh, who said the very popular phrase which is gone into English, but it's not from the English language, which says, you educate a boy, you educate a man. You educate a girl, you educate a family. Think of that wise sort of deep thinking of this heritage of the Sikhs, as Sukhmani ji rightly said. Our Gurbani has all the answers. All the answers are there. And the focus, Punjab today, the disparities between men and women are huge. I think that for 50 men or so, there's only about 40 girls. I don't have the exact statistics, but I think the disparity is there. The challenges are that we'll have to step aside from the culture to sort of import. Any import is to some extent infiltration, but as long as the minority girl child is a good ambassador of Sikhi, the main thing is we've got to sort of prepare ambassadors for tomorrow, where even there's marriage outside the Sikh community. I think whoever is the Sikh partner has to be the ambassador of Sikhi, and I think Sikhi will go far. Sukhmani ji, can you tell a little about the concept that Manika ji used with her son, the tools that are available for all parents there to start from day one? Singing Shabad perhaps the first week of the delivery. Amigos, perhaps you can say a few words on that.
Of course, singing Shabads, because obviously singing is emotionally gets you attached, but also I believe in talking with the children about the meaning of the Shabads, and it doesn't have to be a complicated concepts. You can go through the basic things, but they should understand that Gurbani is not just sound, it also has a meaning which they can relate to. Yeah, so I mean with my kids, like when we drive to school, we have a book of Shabads that they learned, and then we talk through the meanings. So I don't know, so simple Shabads which you can explain through the simple words, and so they can relate to the meaning. And I mean, there's loads of, like your example was beautiful about the dinosaur. That's really good. So there are loads of things parents can do, and for some reason people feel very limited when they talk about learning Punjabi or Sikhi. It's very regimented, but I think it's time we step away from writing Ura Era for an hour and go beyond that, you know, and do more fun things with the kids. Like you can take same line, Chanda Ogwe, and you can draw a picture with the kids. They can draw a picture, and you can talk to them about the Shabbat. So there can be so many different ways of learning, even Sakis. For example, in Kiri Sangat, what we do, because kids are very little, so I try to engage them. And if I tell a story, then I make a craft which goes with the story. So then afterwards, when they look at the craft that they've made, they can remember the story. For example, yesterday was a group we had, and we talked about the Makhan Lal and the Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, the story, Guru Ladure. And so we made a little boat, and they colored it and stuck little, so, and you know, they have this little boat, and then they remember, oh, there was a Makhan Shah, he was a Sikh, then Ardas the Guru. So it's like, it's bringing it to their level, but still inspiring them, not dumbing it down, but inspiring them. So that's...
You see, it's fascinating that, you know, the way both of you are getting that message of Sikhi across to the child. Yet, within the community, Gurbani is seen as something spiritual, only somebody at a certain level can get to. But yet, the Gurus described it as a handbook of life. A handbook of life where daily messages to how we should conduct our lives is there. And I think the way you are translating those messages, I think is very, very inspiring. And we just wish that more mothers, more girl child could be actually introduced to these early concepts of Sikhi much earlier in their lives. Not early concept, but these things much earlier in their lives. Is there anything, Manika, you want to sort of add to this of educating a Sikh child?
Obviously, value-based education is very important. But I think just to make things very simple, I know that I won't have to introduce my son to certain things. He'll just find them. It's like I need to sit and make my son eat broccoli. I don't need to make him eat French fries.
Yeah.
He's going to find the fries or the cake and he's going to love it. But if I teach him to eat the broccoli, that's what's going to pay off. It's going to give him good health, strength, energy. So I need to sit there and put in the time to instill in him the love for Sikhi, to plant the seeds. Because if you look at your children as like a piece of land, and you're the farmer, and what does a farmer do? He toils at the land, he creates the lines, and then he plants the seed, and then he waits for it to rain. One day, when the rain comes, the plants will grow, and then you will have corn or rice or grains. So I know that I'm planting the seeds of Gurbani and love for God in my child, so that one day, when the rain comes, those seeds will grow, and those are the things that will help him through whatever journey and whatever Vaheguru has written as his path, whatever things that he needs to overcome on his journey. I can't control that. I can just give him the tools so that whenever he is facing something, if he just remembers to just keep quiet for a minute and to just do his Mool Mantra or remember Vaheguru, within him he will see it. He'll see the way and he'll be able to find the steps.
I think it's a wonderful message there. Sukhmani ji, you mentioned children, sort of nursery level. The first question is simply, how are mothers reacting? Because they do not seem to have that capacity or capability that you have. Those mothers are lacking that. That's why they're bringing that child to you. Is there any vision where we sort of have a program for ladies who are entering into a matrimonial arrangement, and then mothers to be? A program that is somehow prepared or jointly or elsewhere, or is there any effort going on around the world?
I mean, it's a brilliant idea, definitely, to give those tools to people, because obviously not everybody has educational background or maybe psychology background to be able to work with kids. It's a really good idea, but at the moment, from what I know, it's not really happening. There are few groups around UK who are sort of doing Sikh education with the women. There's Course Corner. There are few initiatives around UK, but I haven't heard anything anywhere in the world where they specifically target young mothers. But it's a really good idea. I mean, what we're trying to do with Kiddie Sangat, all the ideas that we have, it's on the website, and anybody who wants to run a play group or maybe even do something once a month with their friends, get together, they can use those ideas and activities. And we're writing up, as you suggested, the curriculum. So we're working on the curriculum for the under fives and the for over fives as well, Gurmat class. So we're working on that, and it's just
for the mothers?
For the mothers, for the people, because I mean, I'm the mother, so the reason I started those groups is because there was nothing else available for my kids. And I said, well, look, I'm going to a play group and we're saying Insi Winsi Spider. It's like, oh, come on, we can do something more fun, and then we can learn Sikhi at the same time. So essentially, I think it's you do it for your own kids, and then other people benefit from it. So
I mean, it is a warning signal, I think, for the community that it simply hasn't got the institutional framework for Sikhi to grow. Sikhi needs all that basic sort of institutions where, again, we're back to the child, the girl child. Not just going on to the institution of marriage, just before that. There are a number of communities around the world which has a pre-wedding courses to understand the institution of marriage in their faith. Now, Manikaji, maybe would like to hear from you that what sort of institution that should be, what sort of programs that should be for Sikh children to be entering into the institution of a Sikh marriage, what it is all about. Perhaps if you like to say something about that.
I think it's actually very interesting because if before the couple get married, someone were to sit down with them, maybe the good Kenny ji at the Gurdwara, who should be well trained and be able to explain, and if it's in English then in English, in Punjabi then Punjabi, but to meet the person at their level and be able to communicate to them what was written, the lava fairy, what is the meaning of the lava fairy, and what this step means actually. I think
that's critical.
That being incorporated into today's world and people growing up in today's world is important, just to create more understanding. I think wherever we can create more understanding,
Sure. Yeah.
and we can promote more learning is a good thing, because that is the path of a Sikh, to keep learning
Sure. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
to keep growing, to allow our understanding to keep growing. So I think anytime we can move in that positive direction, it's a good thing. I think what we have to be careful of is making sure that we do it in the correct way, which is in a very loving way, and not trying to shove anything down somebody's throat or force anything upon someone, because everybody is capable of getting to that point. We just need to find the correct way of helping that person get there.
Yeah. Thank you. Sukhmani-ji,
Yeah,
anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, add to that. You know, with the recent events of all these protests against interfaith marriages, and there's a lot of problems in the UK about that. So there's been basically our charity has been working on a course. It's a wedding course, and initially we were hoping it's going to be over a few days, but all the gurdwaras said no, we can't do that. So it's coming down to, I think, 4 hours or 6 hours course in 2 sessions. And it's under Sikh Council, and with the so basics of Sikhi and Sikh to Inspire, working together on that. And the idea of the course is 2-part course where the Sikh Council is going to implement it in the Gurdwaras across the UK, and we're going to provide training for the people who are going to deliver, because we can't physically be in every Gurdwara for every wedding. So to train people how to deliver it, and part of it is sort of Sikh philosophy, very briefly, and part of it is actual Sikh marriage, and a little maybe like a rehearsal and going through all the points. So I believe that the first sessions of this course, the trial sessions, are going to be December or January, so it's very, very near in the making. And the Sikh Council is supporting this initiative. It's basically
it's a blessing. I mean, it's interesting that you say that it's going to be a 6-hour program, and if I can share with you that my origin is Malaysia. That's where I hail from. It's a Muslim country. We know that they do conduct a 6-month program.
Wow.
Where, as part of your working life, as your professional life, you're going to work, you're running your own life, but maybe on a weekly basis, there is a program for you to attend. And once you have fully understood the concept and the institution of marriage, do they then actually enter into...
I know, it's really strange. It's almost like Sikhs are afraid of being educated too much in Sikhi. It's just like, whoa, that's too much.
When you mention Gurdwaras are reluctant to sort of participate, these are centers of learning, centers of excellence, the Gurdwaras are. As somebody rightly last night at the award said, that Sant Babatar Singh Ji did not go to a school. Schools around the world were linked with either monasteries in Western Europe or Gurdwaras in the case of Asia, or temples. That's where the learning starts. I think our Gurdwaras definitely need to get involved. And an organization like the Sikh Council definitely need to have a greater understanding and insight to build that capacity within the community. Yes, I think we're moving a little away from the subject matter. It is education. But Manikaji, we would like to know a lot more about your Kirtan for Causes. It's such a unique program that you have many fans around the world. They love your music. You know, tell us a little about what it does and where it's the partner of Educate to Save. You're a major sponsor of a patron as far as Educate to Save is concerned. You have sponsored 100 students already, which we will talk about in the next program. But yes, please tell us about your program.
So there's 2 sides to it. There's the kirtan side, which is composing and creating beautiful kirtan. All kirtan is beautiful, but it's just an expression of what I feel maybe the new generation would want to listen to. I don't expect my child to want to listen to the things that I listen to. I actually very much enjoy kirtan, which is just very basic bhaja, tabla. I grew up listening to that and I enjoy that. But I think having more English within the kirtan, which is the translation of Gurbani within the kirtan, will help younger people connect to it, and they are the future of Sikhi. So helping them connect into Guru Nanak's teachings and those values, it's very important. The other thing is, when you do something musically, it's much easier for people to connect to it. If it's melodious, if it's beautiful, and if it tells a story, then you have something there that people can connect to and feel inspired by, would be the correct word. Now, linking it to the causes aspect is making sure that that kirtan serves a purpose, because that's what the Gurbani teaches us, is seva and nam. So this is everything. This is nam and this is seva. The kirtan is the nam serving the seva. And the seva aspect is helping these children in Punjab get educated, building homes. We've built 2 homes. We're starting to build a 3rd home. Through Educate to Save,
Is this for a family or is it
for a family? For a family.
Okay.
So what happened in that case is a family came forward with their children for sponsorship. The first thing we do is we send somebody to go out and interview the family, photograph where they live, go to the father's place of work, because we must first ascertain, are they genuinely needy? Is this a genuine case where this family genuinely needs this help? So once we've collected all the information, we go through it. And there was this one family that came forward for sponsorship, and when our guy went and photographed their living conditions, it was just unbelievable to see how they were living.
Very badly? Or?
Very badly. So their house was smaller than a car, and then they had like a little kitchen, but it was in the ground. So anytime it would rain, the entire place would get flooded. And it was tiny, and then they just had a tarp. They didn't have a proper bathroom that had a cover, and they had a daughter, and they're supposed to go and clean themselves and use the bathroom in this space, which is pretty much open to the public. If somebody wanted to leer at them, they could. It's just, and there's a family of 4 living there. The son that they were wanting sponsorship for is the same age as my son. So we finished their home a couple of months ago, and now they're living in a proper home where they have a kitchen, where they can cook,
Water,
where they can boil water, where they have electricity, and just it's very basic, but that's all they really need. They're not asking for much.
Well, these are UN's development goals, Millennium Development Goals, which as an individual you are trying to achieve. But on the music front, what I have observed, I think it's the branding aspect of anything that we do should be done well, because as a Sikh, that's how the world will perceive you, that you are doing things professionally. I see professionals working with you. Somebody may argue that, hey, Manika is advantaged from an advantaged background. She can employ different peoples to support her. After all, the program is hard talk. And what I feel that shouldn't be a disadvantage to somebody else, because if you look at Educate to Save, we are growing. We have a support network which we have developed of professionals.
I would like to actually answer that.
Please.
My first album that I did with Sukhbir Singh, who is a famous Bhangra artist who tours the world, who performs at many weddings, he did the album for free. I didn't pay 1 cent for that album, and that album raised over 1 million dirhams for the Gurdwara. Even the company that printed the booklets for that album did it for free, Atlas Printing Press in
It's the
Dubai.
course.
Even the company that printed out the CDs did it for free. I didn't pay anyone anything. When you're doing the Guru's work,
Gets done.
it gets done. Now, doing my second album, I worked in London. I went to Strong Room Studios. I worked with fantastic musicians and producers. Can I tell you that, first of all, these people are so busy. They wouldn't work with me if they didn't believe in the sound and they didn't believe in the project. Secondly, a lot of the times they come and perform with me for free. For example, when I performed at Houses of Parliament on Tuesday, Jyotsna Sirikant and 2 musicians came. They knew that I'm singing as a seva. There's nothing to be earned here. I'm not doing it for any reason except to sing divine shabads for the Sangat and for God. And they came and they didn't charge for it. So money doesn't actually matter. Intention matters. What your intentions are, what your thoughts are, the Guru knows. And the Guru will carry you forward.
I think that's exactly what one was hoping, that the reality is we all have the same advantage. He's within you. You got to create that requirement for support amongst the community. And I think everyone can build their as long as the will is there, the way will be found. And I think it's very challenging, very interesting.
We also, as Sikhs, we also believe that everything is His hukam. So what is the need to sit and make comparisons if everything is His hukam? I think to be successful, you can't focus on what other people are saying and doing too much. Focus on your path and your journey and what you're here to do, and take those steps forward. Don't make excuses. There's one very simple and beautiful Shabad, Charan Charan Guru Ek Panda Jai Chal, Satguru. So in that Shabad you take one step. It says you take one step towards the Guru and the Guru takes thousands of steps towards you.
It's all within His raza.
Exactly.
It has to be, and we got to accept that whatever life you're accustomed to, you are leading, it is His raza. But prayers and connection and recognizing Vaheguruji within you will be the bonus, will help. Anything you want to add to some of these?
Actually, we have recorded a Sikh nursery rhymes album, and funny enough, we had the same experience. So the guy who recorded and mastered us over many hours and many sessions, imagine working with like group of little kids. It takes a lot of time. So he done for free as well. So I think there is something really big. People, when they see that the project is really inspirational to other people, they just say, look, we'll do it for free. It's Guru's work, really.
There's so much compassion and love out there. There really is. And some people ask me, do you face negative comments? No. My experience everywhere I've gone has been quite wonderful, and I've experienced a lot of love. And even if someone does say something negative, I just have a chat with them and say, well, don't judge me, join me.
Yeah, absolutely. Come and join. Correct it. If there are cracks in it, correct it. Yeah. Again, back to the girl child. The focus is education. It is the child. Tell us something unique that you sort of learn from girls, their experiences, the challenges they're facing in society. And those challenges shouldn't be there in Sikhi. Why are they facing all these challenges, if they are?
I can speak from the Punjab causes perspective. There's one girl that we sponsored. Her name is Gurpreet Kaur. I've kind of told her story a few times because she's just an amazing girl. Her mother died of cancer when she was 15. Her father was an alcoholic and disappeared. He couldn't take care of the family. She was split up from her brothers and her sister, and living in different villages, so never even seeing them. And she was living with one uncle. We sponsored her education. She was the first girl to go to university in that village, the very first girl. She graduated with a degree in engineering and computer science. She got a paid internship She's won poetry competitions. She's won competitions in creating artwork. And I'm in touch with her almost every day. And she called me up, and I called her, and we were talking. And she was like, I don't know what I should be doing now. And I said, well, do you want to work? Do you want to study? Follow your heart. I'm behind you no matter what. And so she thought about it for a few days, and I said, let's think about it for a few days. And considering that she's a fantastic writer, and she's been recognized in that, I suggested to her that she goes to do journalism, because then she can tell the stories of the girls and the boys and the things that they face and the complications that they have to live through. I can't tell their story. They have to tell their story. I can try and shine a light on it, but I haven't lived it. And she has, and her story is incredible. And I've actually filmed a video of her, and it's on my YouTube channel, Manika Kaur, and you can see her own poem telling her story. And that was several years ago. Now she's in Chandigarh University studying journalism. And she just recently came 3rd place in a competition there. She's excelling. And she's going to be someone to watch out for. And we are behind her all the way, just the way that we're behind all our kids.
That sounds fascinating. Sukhmani ji, you want to add something to that? Perhaps just to say, what's going through my mind is that educating a girl child without value-based education is not going to be sufficient. Without value-based education, girls are educated well these days, but the lack of value-based education, what's the deficiency going to be?
To be honest with you, my perspective is, I think within Sikhi, girls are they're not as being as inspired as maybe boys, because there's many more heroes talked about, many more superheroes which are male gender. But with females, I mean, you can think in Sikhi, Khalsa is men and women.
Yes.
And I think, I don't know, it's probably the only culture, the only society that actually armed women is actually armed women. It's not just put them as equal, roles are not just as equally
Status
important,
quo.
but they actually give them weapons. So I don't know if we can tell me any other culture which got that for females. And I think we should just, like girls are guru's daughters as equally as boys are guru's sons. So we should just bring it into their lives and fill them with love for Guru Sikhi.
Thank you. We're heading right to the end of the program. Manika ji, maybe within the last 1 minute, if you want to sum up anything that we have said today, that would be very useful.
I think focusing on girls in particular, I understand being a Sikh girl with strict parents, the need and want of parents to hide their daughters. But I think that you need to find a balance between allowing your daughter to be the person she's supposed to be and allowing her to express herself, and being strict. Finding that balance where, you keep her kind of grounded and like a well-behaved child, but also allowing her to go after what she wants, because I feel like my parents gave me that balance, and that's why I'm here today and able to sing kirtan, record kirtan, do concerts, and just go for it. Stop holding the girls back, stop hiding them away. Encourage them, inspire them, stand behind them.
Thank you. Saad Sagat ji, we have learned so much from our guest today, that in building a strong community, the fundamentals are simply education. Education, value-based education, is the key to transforming the Sikh community around the world. Please join me now in saying Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.